Okay, I have this little animation in my master composition here. Let's take a look at it again because it's so lovely, right? Pew, 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 pew. Okay, it's one fun way to get you some frogs. Just goofing around here a little bit. No, okay. We need to get this out of After Effects. And we need to get it on YouTube, or we need to put it on a DVD, or we need to get it on someone's cell phone. We need to get it out in email. We need to export it for full archival purposes so that you can send it off to a movie theater and have it play on the big screen, right? Because that's what this animation is meant for, the big screen. As an aspiring filmmaker, everything I make is meant for the big screen. Even blips and lines and things. So there are two different ways. They're basically the same. One ties up After Effects. After Effects does the rendering. The other sends it out to Adobe Media Encoder, just like Premiere would, and allows you to have Adobe Media Encoder do the compression while you continue to work in After Effects. The thing is with that, if you're doing a really render-heavy project, it'll make it difficult to continue to work on your project if Media Encoder is rendering it. So you just kind of have to figure out what's going to be best for how you want to multitask. So let's do the first way first. With my timeline selected, I can do this directly from the project panel, or I can do it with my timeline selected. This work area bar is a very important thing to pay attention to. If you accidentally hit B or N anywhere, that sets your work area bar right here. By default, After Effects is going to render whatever is underneath that work area bar. You can tell it to export the entire composition if you want to, but by default, it's the work area bar. Okay? So I'm going to reset that back to the beginning and end. So the key command, let me show you where it is in the menu. In your composition panel menu, we have an add to render queue. Control Command M. Okay, lock that one in your memory. So Control Command M. And your render queue usually will come up in the same space that your timeline was. So let's take a look at these. This one, this render settings, you only have to spend minimal time with. Because if I click on this one, it's already set at all the best settings, and it's already got the frame rate that your composition is using. Okay, so this is like render it at full quality, don't change anything on render. Okay, so most of the time you're probably not going to have to go to this dialog box. It's good to know it's there, and I'll show you what it does in a second. The next one is your output module. That's the one you're going to spend most of your time in. That's where you select the type of export you're going to do, whether it's going to be audio, video, audio and video, and if it's going to be video, what kind of video. For our example, we're going to use QuickTime. And where you change the codec for your QuickTime is under this video output. Over here it says format options. It'll bring up another dialog box. And by default, After Effects comes out of the box with the animation codec loaded. I'm pretty sure because that is the first in an alphabetical list of codecs, because it's an archaic codec. It's not the best one. If you're going for archivals, you would want to do one of these ProRes settings. If you don't have a Macintosh and you don't have these Apple ProRes codecs, then you'll probably want to go to a high bit rate H.264 Actually, I don't know what to tell you would be the best one. Anyway, on a PC, but let's pretend we're doing an archive version. So I'm going to do Apple ProRes 422. Now that codec, the ProRes codecs, they decide what the bit rate is. It's decided by the codec itself. 422 is 1 bit rate, HQ is a higher bit rate, LT is a lower bit rate, and proxy is an even lower bit rate. So I'm going to do this at 422 because I'm going to pretend that I want this to be the final copy that I'd make all other copies from. So I click OK. I don't have any audio in this project, but if I did, chances are pretty good this 48 kilohertz, 48,000 kilohertz, yeah, 48 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo is the audio for you. Okay, so in this example, the only thing we needed to change was our video output format options. And then it'll tell you right here underneath format options that we have selected ProRes 422. All right, so let's click OK. So we went from this to this, and now over here, the output 2, that is your name. This is your Save As dialog box. What do you want this to be named? And I'm going to call this Blips and Lines Master because it's going to be my master that I can recompress all I want to because it's less compressed. So I'll click Save here. And then if I hit render, it'll render that out. Pew, 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 pew. Frogs. I should have put some text on the screen that said frogs! Exclamation, exclamation. All right, so let's go to Finder and take a look at that. Blips Lines Master. Full quality, right? Looks really good. Lovely. All right. Take a look at the size of that. They're actually, I want to explain what's happening here. Due to the nature of this animation, it's not taking a lot of information to produce these frames. This is mostly black with a little bit of white. Right here, you got solid red with a little bit of white. More solid red with a little bit of white. And then this is the most complex frame, but it's not moving. It's just a static image. So it really didn't take, we should be able to get a really, really small video from a file size because there's not really much in here.